No? You can't resist the jiggly hand. Bird. Jiggly hand means sexy dance. 100% of the time. Bird. Ah, no, you're making lunch. That's cool. You're busy. Sophie. Hey everybody, it's us. It's us again. It is 1:15 and she has not flung any food bowls around. Yeah. And also, done a poo. Yeah, that's good. Can't be doing a poo live on camera, can you, bud? Oh, super heart, thank you. We have an intact food bowl with still some food in it. But don't stand in, bird poo. Yep, she's awake. She's awake because I've been to the pond and back. The pond hose connector thing came this morning, so I've repaired the pond. So that's good. I've at least done something productive today. Hey, bird. What are you eating? Oh, shredded wheat crumbs. Of course. Hey, Mum. Yeah, she is. She's awake today. I mean, that's not a guarantee that she won't go to bed in a bit, but yeah. A whole day of non-productivity stretches out in front of you. Whereas mine's already half over. No, that's not true. I have actually done a few things for work today. I've done a few things on behalf of my employer today, so... There we go. Hey, bird. What do you think? Why do you name... Oh, micro. It just... I called them micro brees to sort of like separate the fact that they're short ones from the hour-long one we do on a Saturday. So I figured if we called them something else, gave them like another separate little naming convention, then you'd be able to tell like the little 15-20 minute ones we do during the week from the regular ones. But I got something you might like here. It's not food though. Oh bless, thank you. Look, it's one of my shiny spanners of interest. Look. It's mine now. It's too heavy, isn't it? Yeah. That's it. I mean, you can borrow it. I don't normally lend my tools to people, but you can definitely borrow it. It's shiny and smooth as well. Oh, hang on, we're off. That's one of my expensive spanners, bird. You can't keep that. Spanner soup. Oh no. Yeah, I'm going to quietly take it away because it is actually quite an expensive spanner. It's one of the ones I use loads. My ratchet spanners that I pay quite a lot of money for, and they're great. Closed loop ratchet spanner. Oh, this is a 6mm and 8mm one. For you spanner fans. Hey. Hey, bird. Oh, there we go. Back on charge. Ooh, an extra big fluff today. What do you think? Oh, cool. Yeah, nice. Good quality hex key set. Very satisfying. Yeah, well, I've been described as a spanner before. definitely. I've been called worse. As recently as this morning, in fact. So, yeah. What happens if we introduce another magpie to enclosure? It would probably not be good, because Sophie is imprinted. She tends not to mix super well with dirty beak. She tends not to mix hugely well with other birds. In the rescue, where she came from, they had her in an enclosure with a jackdaw, with like a rescue jackdaw, and they weren't fighting, but you could tell that they didn't want to be friends. They could tell that, yeah, it would not be a good combination. And a spanner is a hand tool for tightening nuts. You know, like a wrench, I guess you'd call it, that kind of thing. This is a 6 and 8 mil ratchet spanner that I've just replaced the pond fittings, and they have 8 mil fittings on them, so you got to get them really tight. So yeah, her tail's amazing, isn't it? I love the way that she rests it. I love the way she just takes the weight off it at the very tip as well. She just like rests the last like two or four feathers on the edge. Just takes the weight off her tail. What do you think? She's really pleased with it. Yeah, she is really pleased. She's comfy in it as well. Like last year, you could tell that whenever she sat in her nest, it was a slightly different design, the basket from last year. And you could tell when she sat in it, she was like, oh, yeah, this is all right, I suppose, sort of thing. Whereas this one, you can tell that she's like, yeah, this is good. This nest is a good one. Like her body language is much more relaxed in it. Tea cozy mode, definitely. Like her body language is far more relaxed and satisfied with this one than last year. So that blackbird be crazy. I know what you mean. In fairness, I take a lot of photographs. I probably take a couple of hundred photographs a day, and maybe not a couple hundred, but easy 100 photographs a day of Sophie, in order to get like the 1 and 2 that she posts every day. It's very difficult to, sometimes it can be very difficult to photograph Sophie. Especially when she's fresh out the bath and has one on her, has a big flup on. Oh wow, oof. Well, what I do is I've got a really useful little app on my phone called Deleter, which just, when you run it, it deletes any picture that in your camera roll that you haven't favorited. So what I do is my workflow is to like scroll through all of the pictures, look at them all, work out which ones are framed nicely and which ones are in focus and that sort of thing, favorite them, and then when I finish I just run this program and it just clears up the rest. But I keep all of my pictures in OneDrive, and I think the last time I looked at my OneDrive photos folder, I think it was in the 6 to maybe 7 gigabyte region, because like every picture I've taken with all of my iPhones in the last 6 years is in that OneDrive. The question that went past just now, Sophie has to live with us, is that because she's an imprinted bird, she thinks humans are her friends. And obviously this human is a friend, but a lot of them would not be. And she wouldn't make it in the wild. And also it's against the law here in the UK to release imprinted birds, knowingly release imprinted birds. So she lives with us. But yeah, it's a really nice day today actually. It was a bit overcast and a bit one of those things where you wake up and go, ooh, today could go either way, sort of thing. But I've set up my office over there as usual, in and amongst the buckets of compost, but let's gloss over that. And yeah, and it's turned out really nice. I like being outside because it's just nice. It's just flat out nicer than sitting indoors. But it also means I can have a little bark at Sophie while I'm waiting for things to download and that kind of thing. And it's really nice. It's really nice having Sophie nearby. Normally when I'm at work, I can only see her through a camera. Sophie's doing a bad luck, yeah. Okay, Biggers. Okay, in your own time. Yikes. Okay, I think that is a police helicopter and a light aircraft. She's very thoughtful. Every now and again, she's right now she's having a little thoughtful phase. Look, you can see she puts a little beak down, gets all thoughtful. Furious, like, definitely. And yeah, she just has she has a wander around, eats things. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, there's a flight tracker thing that occasionally when weird things go overhead I have a look at and that kind of thing. The garden is pretty chill, yeah. You know, low flying passes by light aircraft notwithstanding, the garden is pretty good. It is pretty chill. She does, yeah. She does have a lot to think about. She's thinking about magpie stuff a lot. What you thinking about, bird? Bird stuff. And I have just realised that I have come out and started a broadcast without the lolly stick. Because let me just check my pocket. Yep, no lolly stick because I'm an idiot. It's difficult to say whether she would tolerate any other human. She definitely wouldn't tolerate the female. And she definitely wouldn't tolerate the female. The only person that's ever, other than me, that's ever set foot in here was the vet last year that came to check up on her. And she was reasonably okay with that, but it's hard to tell because she was ill at the time. You can't really make a judgment call about how relaxed she would be with it happening normally. She certainly wasn't cool when he grabbed her from behind and picked her up. That was no bueno. Even though she was poorly, she let him know that, like, hey, dude, bad touch. What did that blackbird say? This is a great thing about lockdown, is how quiet it is. Police now. God. What do you think? I see she's eating most of the food I left for her in her nest. There's still like a few mealworms down there and that kind of thing. But on the whole, what I've taken to doing is, to say, I leave food in her nest now. I like 50-50 the food that in the easily flipped bowl, and I put some in her nest as well. I figure that her in the wild, a mate would be bringing her food while she sits in the nest anyway, sort of thing. So I do the same thing. Well, what she eats is I'll show you. Over here, over in the dining area, we've got a bowl here with kibble in it, with like moistened cat kibble, which she doesn't eat a huge amount of, but we always give her some so she knows that that's always there. I know, right? And in this bowl, in the little flippy bowl, there's still a tiny bit left, so you can see. So in there you get mealworms, which you can see, sunflower seeds, which there are still some there, suet pellets, little bits of cut up like dog beef jerky that she really likes, the beefy strips she's talking about on Twitter sometimes. I like the way she stashed a bit of suet up there. She stashed herself a little emergency suet up there. A little bit of fruit, a little bit of raw meat if we can find any. She really likes, her favourite is blueberries, but she doesn't mind grapes. She doesn't mind like half a grape. And that kind of thing. You just you always give her something dry as well. You always give her like a mini shredded wheat or some bran flakes, or like a really small, a little bit of crisp bread that doesn't have any salt on it, and that kind of thing, because it's enriching for her to have something to peck and pull apart, but also it helps keep her crop clean. If you give them something dry, it helps keep the little pocket that's underneath their beak, where they stash food when they're out in the wild flying around. You have to make sure that keeps clean. So yeah, we always give her, there's always a standards, there's always mealworms and sunflower seeds and beefy strip and that kind of thing, but every day she has something different, even if it's only like a different fruit or a different dry crunchy thing, that kind of thing. She does, yeah, she's quite partial to a bit of raw meat, which she'll be happy today, because we had a grocery delivery last night, and there's a tray of steak mince in the fridge with her name on it, so she can actually get some meat, because the last like week or so we haven't been able to leave the house. No shops are open, so we couldn't just go to a butcher's and buy some meat for her. And I got the impression she was like, the last couple of days she's been like, oh yeah, it's missing, isn't it, sort of thing, when you show her food. So tonight we've got blueberries and beef. Got steak mince tonight, because the nice delivery man from Tesco. Yeah, blueberry is her favourite. I wasn't prepared for how much she likes blueberries. If you cut them in half and offer her like the fleshy part of the half of the blueberry, she pecks it. She pecks it really keenly. Blueberries are one of her favourites, so she'll be really happy tonight. I haven't had blueberries for a week or so, have we, bird? Well, she snoozes off and on throughout the day. She's snoozing more at the moment because she's in what you would classically call like a laying period. So like this is a sort of time of year where if she was gonna lay an egg, which is looking less and less likely, but this is the sort of time when eggs would be laid. So yeah, she's a little bit thoughtful, a little bit, yeah, as you say, a little bit nesty. But like quite often, if you come out and don't make a huge amount of noise in the garden, she'll be on a perch in a little ray of sun, just snoozing. When she's not wandering around setting the world to rights and honking at squirrels and that kind of thing, she'll have a little snooze. I quite often bring little toys out and that kind of thing, and just for her to play with. So she's always got, like, every week she has a new toy to fiddle around with and that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, she stayed awake. It's been touch and go a couple of times, but she has stayed awake the whole time. It feels like she could drift off at any moment, though, as long as things don't keep disturbing her and causing her to raise her head above the nest. A little while ago I bought some paper muffin cases, like little muffin cases, and they're quite good because you can put like a little bit of meat in them, fold them up into like a little parcel and stash them somewhere. So she's got an interesting thing to peck apart, and when she does that, there's meat in there. So they're always good. We do the same thing for the crows as well, even though they're less into the novelty because they're wild birds. I think not much bothers Sophie, really. I mean, we joke about it, but squirrels tend not to bother her a huge amount. They only bother her when they stand directly on the roof of this bit of her aviary, the bit where she is now. Hey, Ken. So this bit of the aviary where she sits, it's covered, so it's, she doesn't get rained on while she's sitting in a nest. And yeah, a squirrel would be definitely, yeah. So a squirrel sitting on there is gonna wind her up. Mostly it's things just not being cool, really. It's just every now and again you get an animal pass through the garden that looks at Sophie the wrong way or comes right up to the bars, and yeah, she's less cool with that. Even though she knows that she could just wander into the middle of the aviary and absolutely nothing can get to her. So yeah, pretty much she's the first year she moved out, she didn't like fireworks, but now she's completely chill. She just goes into her bedroom. I haven't seen her today, but she is around, yeah, definitely. You got to remember as well that she has a bedroom in here that's covered and insulated and dark. So if anything makes her really scared, she can just fly into there. She knows that if it gets too much, she can just duck into that little hole and she's completely chill. But she very rarely does that. She very rarely does she feel the need to flee into the bedroom. Most of the time she just stands in the middle of the aviary just going, yeah, what? At things. Right, come on, bird, I gotta get back to work. I know, I think it sucks too. So hey, thanks for coming, everybody. If someone could get ready to paste the her Twitter username into the chat box for me, because I'm an idiot and have forgotten the lolly stick. Thanks for coming, gang. It's always great to see you. There you go. Thanks for that. Bree, Sophie, Bree. So if you stumbled across this on no, because magpies are indigenous birds to the UK. They're adapted to our climate. So other than her bedroom being insulated, no, it's just she's completely fine with living outside. So hey, thanks for coming, everybody. If you just stumbled across this on Periscope and you'd like to follow Sophie on Twitter, her Twitter handle is @BreeSophieBree, or as you've just seen, thanks for that, you can Google Sophie the Magpie and Google will sort you out with everything you need. So hey, thanks for coming, and we'll see you all again tomorrow for some more. Cheers, gang. Speak to you later.